An important part of the research process is locating information and evaluating that information. When evaluating a resource, it is important to have an understanding of resource types, author's purpose, and who is taking responsibility for the trustworthiness of the information. In this video, I'll talk about the authors, the creators, the publishers, and the sponsors, and you will learn why all of these people are so important, how to locate them when you're looking at a source, and how to research them so you can make decisions on if and how you want to use their info. An author is a person who writes text. A creator is a general term for anyone who creates media published through the internet. Authors can use their real names, just a first name or just a last name, pseudonyms, handles, usernames, or they can be anonymous. They don't post their name at all. A publisher or a sponsor is the organization or company that takes responsibility for the content and pushes it out to the people. Good publishers and sponsors are invested in putting out a good product because they could lose business and credibility if their product is poor. Although a publisher and a sponsor are basically the same thing, we usually use the word publisher when we talk about print resources like the New York Times or Scholastic. And we use the term sponsor for digital resources like CNN or NPR. It's important to always locate the names of authors, publishers, and sponsors so you can think critically about their trustworthiness. In a database, you will find the author and the publisher within the citation information, always located at the top of the article. In a website, it's sometimes a little tricky to find the author and the publisher. Usually in a website, you can find the author's name near the article that author actually wrote. The publisher or sponsor is often found at the very top of the web page in the banner, or at the very bottom next to the copyright date. But web pages are not all designed the same way, so you might have to be persistent in your search for the information about your publisher and your authors. If you really struggle to find authors and sponsors, you might want to weigh that into your judgment on the trustworthiness of the information. Once you've identified your author and sponsor, it is important to take time to research them, to decide if they would write and publish helpful, trustworthy information for you to use. Do the obvious research and look for links like About Us or Contact Us. This information will help you figure out the sponsor's purpose. Look for information about what the sponsor's purpose or bias is. How long has the sponsor been in business? A long-standing business or organization is a good sign of credibility. Sometimes social media feeds for sponsors and authors can be a good quick way to decide if there will be a partisan or biased viewpoint. Author bios are often at the top or bottom of an article. Look for a link or Google them. Learn about the author to decide if his facts and ideas are to be trusted. Is he educated on the topic? Has she written on the topic before? Does he have life experience? What is the purpose for the writing? Does the author have an apparent bias or partisan viewpoint? So take notice of all this information about your author and sponsor that you discover, and make a decision based on what you find. The back of the note packet cover sheet offers you a place to note your author and sponsor research. Researchers always take the time to evaluate their authors and sponsors of the information that you find. Practice finding good information from trustworthy sources. Your work, not just for school, but for life, is to evaluate for good, trustworthy ideas and information to use and base your own ideas on. All right, Tartan scholars, go forth and find your answers. If you have questions or are stuck, contact a librarian for help.